Hey, Charlie, thanks for joining me on the call, man. So since we've been working together, we've had 90 leads, and you just said before, potentially 5 listings from it. So things are going well.
Yeah.
Mate, so,
No, 100%.
So what I'm keen to do today is kind of what is the process after the lead comes in. So, in a minute or two, just could you summarize really quickly what is your process? So a lead comes into your Facebook Messenger, it comes into your inbox, requesting a digital report or digital update on their house. What are the next steps from your point of view?
Sure. So once that lead comes in, then I'll go through, I'll jump on Property Smarts, that's what we use. And then I'll do a report for them, and I try and make sure that I spend a bit of time on it to make it relevant, because I don't think there's nothing worse than sending out a report that you generate too quickly.
Yeah.
And then I'll go through, and also you remember a lot more of what's in the report, because I always follow up with a phone call.
Yeah. So
then what I'll do is I'll email it through to them with the template you've given me, saying this is a rough idea. It'd be better if we could see the property, and then I'll send that email off. Then what I'll do after that is I'll send them a video on Facebook Messenger, and then I'll give them a phone call as well the next day and say, hey, did you find that report useful? Can I help you with anything else?
Right.
Once I've done the phone call, then I add them into the database.
Right.
And then Nurture will be in touch with them on a revolving basis. If they don't answer the phone call, I'll try twice that day. And if they still don't, then I'll text them and just say, hey, look, I hope you found the report useful. And then I leave it at that, because some people, obviously, they're not answering, they don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes into your database. So what is the database? Is this your Ray White database? Is it your own?
Yeah, Ray White database. So we're using Vault now, and that's a great system. So a lot more reminders. So, and then from Vault, I use Nurture down in Wellington, and they call through my database.
Yeah, well, tell us more. What's Nurture?
So Nurture's a company. There's an office down there in Wellington. So what they'll do, they're a call centre. Every Thursday, Friday, they make phone calls from about 4 till 6:30. So they catch people, and that's quite a good time for the phone calls. They'll give them a call. They'll send the notes there. They've done a desktop appraisal, and they'll ask them if they found the report useful. Would they like an update? Would they like a market update? And just offer them some tools for some information. Essentially, in their script, they are pushing to book an on-site appraisal with me.
Right.
So I'm using the data that's there.
Yes. So you're outsourcing your phone call follow-ups.
Yeah.
And
so I outsource that. So that costs about $800 plus GST a month to outsource that, and they'll get through. So that's for a database of about, I think it's up to 300 to 550 people.
Yeah.
So my database within a year of clean data is about that 500.
Yes. Yeah.
So that should be generating, in theory, about 10, 12 listings a year.
Yeah. And so how often would someone receive a phone call? Like, they're not going to receive one every single week, obviously. What typically is the time,
Well, if they answer in that, the more that Nurture's doing it, the more notes that will be in the system, the more information we have in them, the more they add to the pipeline. So the idea is that they just comb through the whole database. They make about 50 calls a week, but how many answer? Only 5 may answer every week.
Yeah. Got you. And is there any?
It's just about getting through it.
Yeah. So the phone call follow-up, that's great. Is there anything else that you're doing to keep in touch with your database or nurture your leads, or is that currently just that?
Well, we have them on a set email scheme, but I do also, a month after all the reports have been done, and once we've finished that online marketing, which was this one, which is the majority of those leads, is then I'll give them a call at the end of it. Everyone I've sent a report to before I mark it as done and send it to my other folder.
Yeah.
I'll call every single person in there personally.
Yes.
And just keep it really casual and say, hey guys, what's going on? How's it all going? What do you think of the property market? And just have a chat.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because you've been sending videos and you've texted them, you've called them, people generally answer by then.
Yes. Yeah.
But, I might be calling the people, the ones at the end of the month, I have to knock them in for a couple of weeks, but I make a phone call to all of them, 2 weeks to a month after the campaign stops, because of course you've got a lot more time because you're not doing all these desktop appraisals.
Yes. Yeah.
So you just chip away and call them.
And so to give us an idea, how do you manage your time so you can do those, spend that extra time creating that detailed report? I know a lot of agents say, hey, I've got too many listings at the moment. I'm too busy to be generating leads. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And then how do you manage that?
Well, I mean, you can just, do it more in detail, it's only the difference of maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The software is pretty smart, like Property Smarts, everything is none of it takes that long. So it's all generated, you're just looking for comparables. And also, with all the sales going through at the moment, there's a lot of 3-month comparables in any area.
Yeah.
And the other easy way to attack things is if there's not much information online on a property, let's say it's a bit larger property, it's a lifestyle property, for instance, then the easiest way, and that's probably why I've had so many lifestyle properties, the easiest thing to do is just say, hey, look, this works for your 3-bedroom, meet 3-veg house. But for a lifestyle property, I really need to come out and see you.
Yeah.
Because the online data just doesn't cut it. So, I mean, that's a good way to jump on those bigger properties.
Yes. Yeah. And have you got any examples of perhaps a lead going from obviously someone who doesn't know you, so a lead right through to a listing? Have you got someone top of mind that you could explain, that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of estate sales because people are generally online where they, parents passed away, something like that. I've looked at that. And then obviously when you go into the property on the file, there's no information online. So you have to call them. And those ones there it's pretty straightforward because they're saying, oh, well, I don't really know much about it. It's this and that. It's just like, hey, look, I will help out. I'll come over.
Yeah.
And it's those ones, anything that doesn't have much information online means that generally it's about their time to sell. And they're the ones that you need to pay special attention to.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't changed hands for some time.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously looking to move on. Well, they've got a higher, I figure that they've got a higher percentage chance of listing.
Yeah.
Because they haven't just bought it 2 years ago and curious how much equity they've gained.
So have you so you've spent quite a bit of, you've invested, I'd say, a lot of money in that digital marketing. Are you finding you're getting a great return ROI on this? Yeah, and I was going to say, do you have an example of that?
Well, the database is an example itself because you're supposed to, if I can double that to 1,000, then that would be good. I mean, yeah, I must be. I mean, I got Rookie of the Year last week by quite a bit. So, and being new to us, I mean, I'm new to Whangarei. So, I mean, what I'm doing must be working, but obviously, I probably spend more on digital than anyone else in the office. But I'm sure that they do other print media or pens or pads, whereas I don't do pens or pads or anything. I just do digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very different to what anyone else is doing in my office. But it's kept me ahead of anyone else that's just started. And the people that have been relatively close in sales to me that have just started, they're all from the area. I'm the only one from well outside of Whangarei.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I only knew one person, put it that way. So.
And how long have you been there now, sorry?
A year and a bit, year and a half. And I've been in Ray White exactly a year. Yeah.
Been in Ray White a year, been in Whangarei for a year and a half. And how many properties have you sold within that year at Ray White?
I must be near a dozen. I turned over 160 gross in that year. But then I've sold 3 properties since the 1st of March. But bear in mind, I took 3 months off to move house and get all my stuff out of storage, and we had COVID. So I didn't work a full year. Everyone I was up against worked a full year, but I wanted to get settled. I've got dogs, a house, everything like that. So I took December, January, February off.
Yeah.
So it would have been substantially higher.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was more important to get settled so that I can keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
But that's the good thing about digital marketing. You can turn it on and off.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.